Am I the a-hole for punishing my foster daughter, whose parents OD'd-l in front of her, for telling the authorities my 12-year-old daughter was taking drugs because she mistook candy for drugs? I, 34F, have been looking after my foster daughter Mary, 13F, for over a year, ever since her parents overdosed on drugs. I also have a biological daughter Lila, 12F. Mary and Lila mostly get along, although there have been some minor arguments. A few weeks ago, the police came to Lila's school. Someone had sent an anonymous message to the school saying that Lila was in possession of drugs. After searching through her phone, locker, and bags, they realized that the drugs in question were Skittles that Lila had lying around in her bag, accidentally ripping open the packaging. Lila was terrified of the police and was traumatized by the incident. She's a very shy, quiet girl who had a panic attack at the thought of being sent to prison. While they wouldn't reveal who told on her, Lila suspected that it was Mary since she was the only one who could have seen the Skittles in her bag. Mary denied this at first, but eventually, she snapped under pressure and admitted it. She said she made a mistake and was scared that Lila would overdose like her parents. I know that Mary has trauma related to drugs, but that's not an excuse. I've made it very clear that she can come talk to me about anything, even if it involves Lila, and yet she went to the school instead of telling me first. Mary said that she only went to the school in case I was biased towards Lila. She knew full well the legal ramifications of her actions. Both of them could have potentially been removed from my care. I can't help but think her intentions are malicious. Skittles look absolutely nothing like drugs. She didn't even talk to me or Lila about it. She just went straight to the authorities. So I decided to ground her, stop her allowance, increase her chores, and take away her electronics for the entire summer. She's still upset with me for this, saying I went too far and I was punishing her for having trauma and trying to do the right thing. But I feel like I have a duty to teach her that it's not okay to potentially get our entire family into legal trouble over a misunderstanding. Am I the a-hole? Edit. The reason I thought she had malicious intentions was because the week before, Mary coincidentally started a large argument with Lila for hanging out with Mary's crush. Lila eats candy all the time, especially Skittles, and Mary knows that Skittles are her favorite. Update. Am I the a-hole for punishing my foster daughter for telling the authorities my 12-year-old daughter was taking drugs? Update. After receiving thousands upon thousands of comments, I would like to say that I realized my mistake. I wasn't taking into account the immense amount of trauma that Mary had gone through at such a young age and the effect it had on her actions. I had a tough, but necessary conversation with both Lila and Mary. We had a heart-to-heart so that both girls could hear from each other's perspectives. What had happened was that Mary found out that Lila had been hanging out with a boy that Lila knew was Mary's crush. This was also the 1-year anniversary of Mary's parents' overdose, and she confessed that her grief coupled with what she interpreted as Lila's betrayal influenced what happened the following week. Mary maintains that she'd mistaken the candy for drugs, but she owned up to the fact that she'd notified the teachers, not only because she was concerned for Lila's safety, but because she believed that it wasn't fair for Lila to get away unpunished for having drugs after everything that had happened to Mary's parents. I know I should have been angry at Mary, but seeing the response to my initial post has opened my eyes. I've been informed that traumatized children can lose their common sense after being exposed to triggers. I assume this applies even more when it occurs around the anniversary of their trauma, and this can lead them to make decisions that may sound outlandish in any other circumstances, decisions such as mistaking candy for drugs. Mary has had bad experiences in foster homes before. Several years before her parents' overdose, she was placed in foster care for the first time, before being reunited with her parents. She was in 3 different foster families, and in all of them, her foster parents favored their biological children, and they punished Mary if she told them about their bio children misbehaving. She was terrified that I would do the same, which is why she didn't come to me first. Mary acted out of pain, and I acted out of frustration without even hearing her side of the story. I lifted Mary's punishment. At that point, we still had nearly 3 weeks of summer break left. Lila has forgiven Mary, and we decided to put this incident behind us. Being a foster parent can be challenging, but I will be doing everything I can to learn from this situation and be a better mother moving forward. Next story. Am I the a-hole for replacing my friend's throw pillow with a thrifted identical version? No a-holes here. So my 24F friend Wendy, 23F, just got a new apartment. She's the first of our friend group to get an apartment, so everyone is really excited, and Wendy wants it to be the main place we all go to hang out. Wendy threw a party this past Friday, just a small get-together with our friend group and some of Wendy's cousins. After a few hours, we were all pretty drunk, including me. I accidentally spilled my wine on one of her throw pillows. I tried to wash it out, but no luck. Of course, I offered to replace the pillow, and Wendy sent me the link to where she bought it. It was $70 for a tiny little carrot pillow. I told her I would definitely replace it, but I would probably have to wait for a few weeks for my next check because that eats into my gas money. She seemed a little pissy and I felt bad. Yesterday, my other friends wanted to go thrifting for their Halloween costumes. I already got mine, but wanted to tag along. I thought it was my lucky day because at one of the thrift stores was the exact pillow, like the very same one with the tag from the store and everything. The thrift store was selling it for $12, so I got it because it was cheaper, and now Wendy would be able to have her complete living room quicker than we thought. Fast forward a couple hours, and we all go over to Wendy's to show her the Halloween haul, and I present her with the pillow. At first, she was happy, but then she was like, "How are you going to get to work?" I explained that I found it at a thrift store, and she threw it at me and acted all grossed out. Now I'm confused because we all go thrifting all the time, including Wendy. But Wendy was like, "I don't buy soft furnishings at the thrift store." I offered to wash it and bring it back, but she said no and still demanded that I buy the one from the actual store. I said no, I would wash the thrifted pillow for her, but I'm not buying a pillow for $70. She said it was my fault for spilling wine in the first place and said I was too clumsy to live. Then I said, for someone who wants to host parties, you're being a big brat about a little spill. We left it at that, but I left a few minutes later because I could tell Wendy was really annoyed at me. Now the friend group is taking sides, and one of my friend's girlfriend told me that now there's a group chat that doesn't have me or Wendy in it called The Pillow Crisis of 2024, where everyone is arguing about who is in the right. I did wash the pillow and gave it to my friend to give it to Wendy, but apparently, she refused to put it on her couch, and it now resides in the floor pillow pile. So, am I the a-hole? TLDR. I spilled wine on my friend's very expensive throw pillow. I replaced it with an identical pillow from the thrift store at a lower price. My friend wasn't happy and demanded that I buy it from the actual store. I refused and insults were thrown back and forth. Am I the a-hole? Edit. If anyone is curious about the origins of the pillow, carrot pillow? Edit 2. Some new info I learned from the group chat that I'm still not a part of. Wendy took the tags off the thrifted pillow, so there's no returning it now. She has the turnip as well, by the way. Next story. Am I the a-hole? For not knowing a candle wasn't supposed to be lit? It had wicks. For real, last update. I was tipsy and kidding about actually doing that petty stuff, though it did cross my mind. I will go to at home tomorrow and buy her the same candle and put it back atop the toilet. If you've read anything I've said, I have certainly learned my lesson about leaving candles unattended. I will also apologize and ask that she either cut off the wicks or tell me when she has a candle she doesn't want to be used, as this is a first-time thing. We're fine. Since this candle is already ruined, however, I will be damned if I don't burn the rest of that fucker down to the bottom, after trimming the wicks, of course. Final edit. It is a fucking candle. Like a candle? I've been at work all night, but I got home and just looked at the bottom. Instructions say, trim wick to 1/4 before lighting. I did not do this, as being the apparent caveman I see a candle. I light a candle. She's asleep, so I can't rub it in her face after she says that candle isn't supposed to be lit. They're not meant for that. But this is all I need. Am I the a-hole for leaving it lit for a quick piss walk before bed with her and the dogs? Yes. Am an a-hole for thinking this stupid thing was in fact a candle, and no. The cutting the wick thing was ignorance for not thinking the protective lid that usually comes with a plastic peel around it would have prevented someone from lighting it otherwise, and they probably should make the damn things ready to go. Here's a lesson to anyone out there about to light a candle. Apparently they have instructions. I now know she was wrong and we never got into a major fight, so I will humbly, and in the least petty way, just leave the candle upside down next to the sink, so when she wakes up first to brush her teeth, she can know that this candle was in fact meant to be lit, and that I was right. I can't add links or pics here, but it's called Mermaid Shimmer from At Home. I may be dumb, but I can hang my hat up knowing I had every right to light it. Good night to all, and have a pleasant tomorrow. Edit 3. Holy shit, y'all know how to beat a dead horse. I get it. Am I an a-hole for leaving the house with it? I've accepted that. I will be sure to never do it again. Now try imagining the question as I lit it and sat down on the couch, and then it started smoking. Am I the a-hole then? GF and I share candles, share a household, and share the financial responsibility for these. They are not hers, they're ours. This question was just supposed to be about how in the hell I was supposed to, without being told, know that there was a fake candle I shouldn't have lit. The label doesn't even say anything, just hand-poured wax. Edit 2. Except I am the a-hole, but still F those candles. Edit. Aside from the obvious that I shouldn't have left with it lit, I take responsibility for that. If all other scented candles are fair game, except if they're out of season, she doesn't like the house to smell too much like dogs, so she likes it when I do. The big question here is why TF are there wicks in a decorative candle you're going to put above a toilet and not tell me it's off limits? I went to the bathroom last night and it was stinky. So, being the considerate boyfriend I am, I lit the candle my GF left on top of the toilet, and then we went to walk the dogs. The candle looked like the most scented candles I've seen. Round glass, tan-colored wax inside, smelled good, had fing wicks. We get back, a smoke alarm is going off, and the house is cloudy but no worse than burning food in the oven. Smoke's worse in the bathroom, so I blow out the candle, and she tells me you're not supposed to light that candle. What the F? Why would it have wicks? Why would she put it on top of the toilet? To me, it's like having a doormat you're not supposed to step on in front of your door. Do most guys know about this? She seemed mad at me, but I told her it was crazy to do that. Am I the a-hole?